So, as I clear out my entire life, as I look for what to throw out and what to pack yet again to move to another place, what will be significant to me for the rest of my life? Why do I need to have these things? I have to answer all these questions, and I come across this. This is, and from my other life, I was a part of the Delirium Fall Tour 2003. Whoa. How many years? It's almost 25 years ago. I'm so proud of this. And every time I move, I consider throwing it out because what is this for? It's for this feeling that I get. This is my first bus tour. Slept on a bus for 30 days with a few other people. And it was the Delirium tour. I was Conjure One. I sang for Conjure One, which was the opening act. And I'll tell you, if you don't know who Delirium or Conjure One is, that's fine. I'll tell you in a little bit. But like I said, it was the first time on a tour bus. They asked me for money. I would get money and I would sing on stage across the US into Canada. I mean, we started in Vancouver, went all the way down to San Diego, the usual like Portland, Seattle, LA, San Diego. We went all the way across. We even went to Montreal, Toronto. Turns out I was in Milwaukee. It's 30 days. We had 4 days off. Every night we were doing a show. And just like learning fun stuff about being on a tour bus, the first thing that they taught me was don't poop on the bus. Not just because it smelled, although I think that was like a little bonus, but because the system couldn't handle toilet paper and it couldn't handle solid things, couldn't handle anything but pee. So even if you peed, you couldn't wipe and put it into the toilet. So yeah. There was no shower. We would have we would like drive all night. Not us. We weren't driving. We'd a bus driver. This is so posh to me. The fact that I had my own little pod, it's like a bunk bed in the middle of a bus and it had a curtain. So that was my little room. What else? Oh, and I was taught, I think it was probably the second thing I was taught is put your feet towards the front of the bus when you sleep. So you're sleeping, it's sort of like, it really is a pod. Some people, it's like a little too small because it's very coffin-esque, but to me, it's plenty of space. I like little cozy spaces to sleep. Anyway, if the bus stops short, then your feet will catch you. It's better if your feet catch you than if your head catches you. So just stuff like that. Somebody's driving in the middle of the night and you hope that your feet will catch you if he stops short. Before that, this was a singing tour. Before that, I did a little bit of touring, but it wasn't on a bus. It was like you take a plane ride to whatever city hired you. Maybe you do it one night or a weekend, sometimes 3, 4 dates, and then you come back home. So this was the whole time we're going to be out on tour. And the thing is I went to Chicago and Atlanta. We ended in Atlanta. Irving Plaza, I think the Commodore. I mean, I could read all of this. This is so cute. Every page had a day. So this was, well, I landed on a day off. We had a day off in Boston, Massachusetts, but the the show in Boston, it has the date, which was September 21st, 2003. And I have to put my glasses on. When I was on this tour, I could read this small print. I'm going to cover up some of the context. I could read the small print without glasses. That's how long it's been. So it had the schedule. We load in at noon, sound check at 2, doors open at 5:30, Conjure One at 6:30, Sidestepper at 7, Delirium at 8:30, and the bus call is at 2 a.m. So you had to be on the bus at 2 a.m. or it'll leave without you. Our day room, so we would have a day room because That's where you could poop. That's where you shower. You got ready for the show. But it's, 1 or 2 rooms, I think, for the whole bus or for both buses. We were traveling with 2 buses. And so you'd be able to like rotate kind of using the facilities and maybe take a nap if you want. Although I slept through the night. I was fine sleeping. The show was in Access. And then it gives you like you see, we didn't have the Google machine on us. We didn't have smartphones at all, actually. I didn't have a laptop. Um, I think I was texting by then, but we weren't really on our machines all day. So we had to have all the information about every day in here. So let's see, September 9th, 2003, we were at 4th and B in San Diego. Boulder, Colorado, September 12th. This is just, I thought it would fade out, and I thought the text in here would fade out so that it kind of makes the decision for me to throw it out. Like I wouldn't need it. Anyway, what else? Oh yeah, so I went out to all these cities. I can't say that I know what they really look like. Unless I had a day off, I couldn't really explore. Because like you saw, so we might have we were driven all night or whatever. Sometimes it's 3 hours, sometimes it's 8 hours. So we would wake up in the city. So we already slept that much. So we didn't really need, I don't know, we didn't really need to sleep or anything, but at noon we had to be in the venue. And if the bus had to be there, you had to be there too. And so sometimes the mic check was at 2, but they didn't let you do a mic check until 4 because there's other stuff that has to happen before the mic is ready for the vocalist. It's very interesting. I sound very raspy, so it's funny that I don't think I sing the way I talk. Anyway, I opened up for the show. Oh, I got to have a rider, but of course I was like, I'm not gonna say things like, "Oh, I don't want green M&Ms." I didn't want to say that I wanted anything, but they said, "Don't worry, it's not a bad thing, and it's not like they have to get it for you. They want to know what you want." So I asked for herbal tea and honey because on the Conjure One tour, I was doing songs that they were at the highest note that I can reach and the lowest note that I can reach. So if I didn't have my full range of voice, I was not able to do the show. So I eliminated for all 30 days, and I think a couple days before also. I didn't have any caffeine. I didn't have any dairy. Maybe that's it. I just maybe there was one other thing, but I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't hinder my voice in any way. And I was not a morning person at the time. And I, you wake up to like a bus full of people, and if somebody wants to chat, and I was just so out of it. And what they would think is, they said it, they're like, "Oh, leave her alone. She's not talking. She's saving her voice." And I was like, yes, I don't have to talk to anyone in the morning because I'm saving my voice. But it's hard to like be in front of people for 30 days. Like as soon as you wake up, you can't even really brush your teeth yeah, there was a sink in the bathroom. Thank God. Oh my God. But it's like you're right there. So Conjure One is the project of Reese Fulber. The Delirium tour was Reese's project. He had a partner, but they did a few Delirium albums together. Conjure One was his personal project, and it was a compilation. Oh, Delirium is the one that did their most popular song was that song by Sarah McLachlan, Silence, the one that was in that Thai movie that Broke Down Palace. It made everybody really nervous to go to Thailand, including me. Turns out they were just kind of jerks in Thailand. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so Conjure One, Reese Fulber's album, had a compilation, had Sinead O'Connor in it, Poe, and me. I was on the record, and then I was the one singing for the tour, which is amazing. They asked me to do it, and I didn't even negotiate a price. I was making $500 a week on the tour, and I think that was, like, perfectly fine with me. It did cover all my bills at the time, if you can believe it. Right now, it wouldn't, but I was really lucky that it did. I didn't even want to negotiate. I didn't want them to go, "Oh, you're too much trouble." I was just like, "Yes, please." And so here are a couple of wacky things on tour also is that this is really stupid to admit, but one time I did get lost backstage because in the last second, I was like, "Oh, let me go pee real quick," and then I couldn't find my way back. It was really dark. I made it to the stage on time, but not cool. It was like from that movie where the guy can turn up the amp to 11. You know that one. Anyway, the other thing was, I I told my mom not to come to the Irving Plaza show. We were all living in New York, and Irving Plaza, that's like a big deal. But the thing is my mom wasn't really into, like both my parents, they weren't into me being a performer, a singer. They thought that was like pretty low class and um, pretty icky for a woman to do. And in fact, actually, I called my mother from the bus while I was on a tour bus. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on a tour bus." And she's like, "When are you gonna come home and get married and have babies?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I don't it's weird to say I don't want that energy. I don't want that energy in my show, but you're very against it, which means I'm gonna be very self-conscious of me being, like, inappropriate on stage, just me even being on stage. Never mind that for the Irving Plaza show, my belly button was showing, you know? I didn't wanna hear the negativity of that because the only place that that was negative was in my parents' heart and other conservatives, but I thought it was pretty amazing, and, I was pretty proud. It's a shame because she didn't come and, like, my best friend's mom came, and I'm sure that that felt really weird, but, that's how it was. I also met some people. I met, people who listened to the album, and, one of them was crying, telling me she was going through a hard time, and she was listening to the album, and it comforted her. It was so sweet. Um, this is it was my life for 30 days on a bus. Do I keep something like this because it's so thin and so cute and so organized and so nostalgic? I know that I can digitize it. I won't care in digital. This in particular, I won't care for it in digital form. It is just how cute it is. It's that we all got this as part of the Conjure One tour, and I was a part of it. And that made it really special. Somebody asked me for an autograph one time a few times actually, but in in Irving Plaza, in front of my friend, somebody asked me for an autograph, and that turned a little weird because my friend was like, "Ooh, an autograph," because we, like, roast each other and, like, I'm just her friend from 6th grade, and unfortunately, the person asking for an autograph thought I could see her face. She thought that, my friend was making fun of her, and I was like, "Ah, let's do this not here because that could be very easily misunderstood." So I kind of felt bad about that, but it was Irving Plaza, that's pretty cool. I grew up in New York and some of these theaters had 1,500 people. That's a lot of people, you know? I'm no Cardi B, but I don't know why Cardi B. Cardi B has been in my feed and I never scroll past her. Oh, she talks and I'm just like, yes, what do you have to say? Everything she says is just entertaining. It's funny. She's funny. Anyway, so that's why Cardi B came out of my face. Yeah, very, very cool. As I look at this, I'm like, oh my God, I was in Boulder, Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Philadelphia. So now that I live in Philadelphia, I was in the Trocadero. So if that's exciting to anyone, because it is to me, um, is this something that needs to be kept? Is what I have to think about over and over again, because what I want to do is minimize all of my physical things into something that is nothing really. Maybe a box. Maybe a box, but do I even need a box? Do I even have to have one box full of things? Is that necessary in a person's life? I'm gonna think about it. Okay. In the meanwhile, listen to Conjure One. There's some good stuff. Listen, I listen to Delirium and Conjure One, not my songs. Sometimes I'll listen to my songs, but I won't put them on. Um, I'll listen to them like if someone says, "Oh, I'll listen to your song," I'll go home and listen to it and be like, "What are they listening to? What does this sound like to someone who's never heard it before?" I'll do that. But yeah, it's a it's a good album, and Reese is a really, really talented producer who puts like really cool elements in his music, and it's really enjoyable. So thanks, Reese. Thanks for having me on your album.